So after the need recognition stage, the second stage of the process of purchasing is called information search. And this is a type of information search, can either happen in two different ways. It can happen in an internal information search or what's known as an external information search. An internal information search, uh, you use your own personal recall of stored memories in order to kind of analyze and think about what you want to purchase. So let's say you want to go to the movies, and you pick a movie that you want to go see, and you decide which cinema do you want to go to. And you remember that one cinema had really sticky floors and ripped up seats, while another cinema had an awesome sound system with leather seats and that reclined. So obviously, you're probably going to choose the nicer place, money permitting, of course. Again, the internal information search is pretty much your personal recall of memories and experiences that you can rely on to in order to make a purchase decision. Conversely, there's what's known as the external information search, and this is actually broken down to two different types where you are looking for that kind of external information. And the first one's what's called non-marketing controlled information sources, and the second type is called marketing controlled information sources. First one that we're going to talk about is what's called the non-marketing controlled information sources, and these come from a variety of different sources and methods. So the first one that's probably the most important to us is what we call personal experiences, and this is just us kind of interacting with the product before at some point and kind of using our memory recall for that. The second type is our personal sources. So these are families, friends, acquaintances, people that you just know throughout your life, and you, kind of word of mouth of how they have experienced that product and what they think. And then thirdly, we have public sources, and these are kind of third-party rating sites like think Rotten Tomatoes or Consumer Reports. And each of these kind of plays into that influence of what a non-marketing controlled information source is. So if we go back to that movie analogy, you can think about it like this. So our personal experiences could be, you might see an actor or director that you like a lot, and so you want to see that movie based on that, based on those personal experiences that you've had. Personal sources, it could be kind of word of mouth from a family or a friend who've already seen that movie, and they told you that it was really good and that you should go see it. And then finally, you have those public sources like Rotten Tomatoes, where they have community rating systems that are third party. So it's not necessarily from a direct vendor or advertising organization. So these non-marketing controlled information sources are super important to our buying patterns. In fact, 80% of US consumers research electronics, computers, and media online before making an in-store purchase. And a quarter of shoppers utilize at least 4 sources for product information. So, to give you an idea, Google averages more than 1.17 billion searches a month. And this is from the textbook, so I'm sure that number has gone up significantly in the last couple of years. So, those non marketing controlled information is super important to the buyer and the consumer because they're dealing with products and people that they trust. So when they look for advice from their friends and family, that's a huge part of the buying process, hearing the opinions of people that they trust in that regard, and also their own personal experiences and those third party places. And to some extent, the other part of the external information search is what's known as the marketing controlled information source. And this, by definition, marketing controlled information source is a product information source that originates with marketers promoting the product. So, marketing controlled information sources are biased toward a specific product because it originates with marketers promoting that product. And marketing controlled information sources include pretty much anything that you see on your screen or that you read. And it involves salespeople and advertising and product labels and packaging and digital media. So research shows that developing a social media community with a dedicated fan base such as an active Instagram or TikTok or Facebook page, significantly strengthens customer relationships with a company and brand. So, how much a consumer will actually use a marketing controlled information source is based on the 5 different factors: perceived risk, knowledge base, confidence, experience, and their actual interest in the purchase of the product. Profits. So, the extent to which an individual conducts an external search depends on his or her perceived risk, knowledge, prior experience, and level of interest in that good or service. And generally, as the perceived risk of the purchase increases, the consumer enlarges the search and considers more alternative brands. Suppose that you want to purchase a surround sound system for your home. The decision is relatively risky because of the expense and technical nature of the surround system. So you're more motivated to search for information about models, prices, options, compatibility with existing entertainment products and capabilities. You may decide to compare attributes of many speaker systems because the value of the time expended finding the right stereo will be less than that of buying the wrong system. Factor number 2 is knowledge. A consumer's knowledge about a product or service will also affect the extent of an external information search. So essentially, the more you know, the less you're going to search, and conversely, the less you know, the more you're actually going to search and take advantage of those marketing controlled information sources. Factor 3 is confidence. A confident consumer not only has sufficient stored information about the product, but also feels self assured about making the right decision. People lacking this confidence will continue an information search and are more apt to use marketing controlled information than people who have a higher sense of confidence. So, product number 4 is one of the largest influences on marketing controlled information, and that is product experience. The more individual has positive experiences with a product, the more likely they're going to be a repeat purchaser. So whether it's a phone, a car, a cool pair of headphones, it really comes down to their ability to have positive experiences, and conversely, those negative experiences can really ruin a relationship with the product and company. Finally, factor 5 is related to interest. So, a consumer who's more interested in a product will spend more time searching for information and alternatives. For example, suppose you're a dedicated runner who reads jogging and fitness magazines and catalogs, and in searching for a new pair of running shoes, you may enjoy reading about the new brands available and spend more time and effort than other buyers in deciding on the right shoe. So those are the 5 factors that primarily play a role in the market controlled information source search. Again, those are risks, knowledge, confidence, experience, and interest. And once a consumer goes through the process of doing their information search, whether it be through word of mouth or non-market related or market controlled, what a consumer will eventually do is they will boil their options down to what's called an evoked set or a consideration set. And this is a group of the final 3 to 4 to 5 different products that they are strongly considering buying. And from those choices, they will then make one final choice on their purchase.